everyone, today I am talking about forgiveness. This is something that has been coming up for a lot of the clients that I've been reading for, and I thought I would make this video just to give a kind of idea about what forgiveness really is and how I feel we should be approaching this within the spiritual and self-help community. So, um, forgiveness, in my eyes, is when you no longer hold any resentment, grief for the person that has caused you harm. It's a process, and really, when you forgive someone, that person is no longer taking up space within your mind, so you're no longer thinking about them all the time. You're not feeling those emotions, you're not going back over everything that happened and why it happened and getting really caught up in that. So forgiveness is essentially a process that we go through, and it is similar to the grieving process when we lose someone. And it's also similar when we go through a traumatic event that we need to recover from. So it's something essentially that can't be rushed. A lot of times in the spiritual community, we see people saying, "Oh, you need to let that go. You need to forgive that person. You need to send them love." And I, in the past, have maybe been guilty of sending out that message as well. So I want to be really clear about what forgiveness is and how we can forgive. And I feel that really when we dismiss those feelings around forgiveness, the anger, the pain, the trauma, the resentment that we have towards someone, if someone's really hurt us, sometimes we want to seek revenge and we physically want to hurt them back as well. Really, it is a process, and when we deny ourselves those feelings and we deny ourselves that process, we're essentially putting a band-aid over a wound that's festering. And what will then happen as time goes on is that you will develop this conflict within you because you haven't dealt with those emotions, and you may then feel like you are a bad person because you can't forgive someone, because you're holding on to these toxic emotions, when if we address it the right way and we go through the process, then you'll see it's not meant to be something that is quick. It's a healing journey. And if I want to say that, if you feel as if you can just forgive someone really that easily and you're not feeling anything there, I want you to kind of dig a little deeper and see if you're actually resonating with what they've done, because sometimes we get into this state of, where we become disconnected from ourselves. And for a lot of us who have been through trauma as a child, or we have grown up where we weren't validated, we sometimes learn to take people's wrongdoings on the back and we don't really engage with them till much later on. And we go, "Oh, it's fine, I've forgiven that person," but really the wound's still there. So it's important to kind of assess where you are with that, and if someone has hurt you, accept that this will be a process. I've made quite a few notes about this just to keep you on track. So yeah, take as long as you need to forgive someone. There shouldn't be a time limit on you to forgive someone, and if someone's placing that on you, then that is emotional abuse. That's to make them feel better. That's to stroke their ego, and it does nothing to help you. It just puts pressure on you. It's important to express and release the emotions as they come up. Sit with them, identify with them. It may like again, like I said, like if you are someone who has experienced trauma before, or you weren't validated growing up, this can actually be the tricky process, because a lot of us don't always know how to identify with anger or know what anger feels like. And anger can manifest as different feelings, and it can manifest in different ways for different people. Some people blow up, some people have like this niggling thing going on in the background that they don't really know what it is. So it's important to try and get in touch with all those emotions and work out what they are and how you can deal with them. I would recommend that like this is something that you could maybe like talk through with someone that is able to listen to you, like not just a therapist or a counselor, but even a good friend who can just sit with you and listen to what you're saying and maybe help you identify those emotions as they come up. The other thing I want to say about this is that, take the lessons from whatever's happened along our journey. We will meet other people. We will meet people who are going to hurt us, that they're going to teach us specific lessons. That doesn't lessen anything what's happened to you. It doesn't take away from that, but understand that this is sometimes this process can be a process of enlightenment. It can be a lesson that you learn, that maybe you don't keep people in your life that are going to hurt you, that you see the traits in someone that's toxic and you cut them off before they get a chance to hurt you. It might be that you need to listen to your intuition more, or that you should have listened to it. It may be that you're going through this particular thing so that you can then teach other people who are going through this how to deal with it better. We'll never really know. It'll be specific to you. Deal with the anger. I've already kind of mentioned about anger, but deal with the anger in healthy ways. As it comes up, some people channel it into artwork. Some people take it out at the gym. Some people write letters. I'm definitely a letter writing person. So channel that anger in a way that isn't going to keep it within you, okay? Because the longer you hold on to that, the more that's going to fester, and it's going to make you feel unwell. It's going to manifest as physical symptoms within your body. Take care of you during this time. Make sure that you are doing things that are gentle. If this is a particularly difficult time, make sure that you are putting in the relative self-care. Do things that make you feel good, whether that's going for a bath, going for a run, eating well, getting to bed on time, all those things that they kind of sound really kind of naff at times, but they really do help in managing your emotions and helping you to feel more in check or more grounded when you're feeling out of whack. Because grieving, in a sense, if you're grieving for the loss of someone that's came alongside the wrongdoing, like for people especially who lose someone through murder or that type of thing, that is really intense, and that anger that will consume them for the person that's taken this person away from them. Not just murder, like for people that, like, say like you're in a relationship with someone and they cheat, but you know it's not just the cheating, you lose a relationship through that. then that anger, that having to come to terms with your new reality can be overwhelming, and it can leave you drained, it can leave you feeling frustrated, angry, and it can eat away at you. So it's important to put in the self-care just a little bit every day. At some point, there has to come a point, although there is no date at which you should have forgiven someone. I do feel as if there has got to be a point where you get to within you, and when this will be is completely dependent on personal circumstances, what happened, why it happened, you know, what the forgiveness is around. There will come a point where you will get tired of holding on to all that anger, holding on to the resentment, and you will feel as if like you want to focus on something else. And sometimes it's a case of we have to choose to do that, because there comes a point where we're like, you know what, this is so much pain, and I'm going to have to focus on something else to survive. I'm going to have to like focus on my children. I'm going to have to focus on this. I need to focus on keeping going. And gradually, like the focus shifts to something else, and the person kind of that's hurt them, or the event that's happened, slowly kind of gradually fades from the kind of main part of our mind. And it's not that we've forgotten about it or anything like that, but it's, you know, it's part of that, you know, life goes on. So some of us decide to do that because we come to a point where we realise that obsessing over it is not giving us anything good. It's taken away from us, and the truth of the matter is that, you know, how we feel about this person, chances are it's not really going to do anything to the person that hurt us. It really only hurts ourselves. So there has to come a point where we decide that enough is enough, and we're going to work on ourselves, as opposed to focusing all this anger and rage at the other person. And really, I feel as if this is where spiritual counsellors come in. In the spiritual community, we really need to get better at holding space for people, holding space for people that are hurt, who are going through a bad time, instead of putting this, spinning things, well, you know, that's a shame that you're going through that, but you know, you need to be positive, or you know, that doesn't hurt anybody, sorry, that doesn't help anybody, and you are not validating the person and how they feel. It causes more of a rift within them, and it's spiritual bypassing. It's toxic, and sometimes what happens is we don't know how to handle the pain of another person. So we see them in front of us, you know, crying, feeling angry about what has happened, and we see that and we don't feel comfortable with it. So sometimes we may resort to the bypassing as a mechanism, because we don't feel comfortable with dealing with those emotions, or sometimes those emotions of that other person is a little too close to home for us. So yeah, we need to get better at holding space for people, encouraging them to talk, encourage them to let that emotion out, and just stay with them and acknowledge that this is it's a healing journey, and it's not going to get better overnight. It will get better in the long term, but it's going to take as long as it needs to take. Other thing I would say is focus on the joy and the love that's already in your life. You know, and if this is something that is going on in your head, where you repeatedly are going over and over and over the same thing, Like sometimes we just need to try and break that and try and shift ourselves into the things that we done before, like the something that really lights you up, even if it's just sitting watching a movie that you absolutely love, or watching something funny. That sometimes you just need to remind yourself that there is good in the world, there is still joy there, and you will feel it again. It just might not always be present at the moment. If you are obsessing over what has happened or the person that has hurt you, some of the things that you can do is cut the energetic cords with that person. You can see my video, which I will link in the description below, or you can release them. I have a video called How to Release Your Ex, but you could use that same ritual to release anyone who has hurt you. And it really involves just it's a process of energetically cutting the cords with them, but also writing them a letter, releasing them from your life, like pouring into that letter everything that you feel, everything that you want to say. You don't need to send the letter, you can burn it, it is symbolic. There's also, you could go into a meditation and call that person's soul towards, like in front of you in meditation. See them as like not the kind of person that they are just now, but their soul. And in the meditation, say everything that you want to say to them that you didn't get to say, or display the anger that you want to express, finalize everything that is kind of going on for you, as a way of getting it off your chest in a safe way. Try not to send them energy. It may be tempting to send them energy, but energy will come back to you. But if it's a case, when I say call their soul towards you, I feel as if you should do that if you've got like things that you really want to say to them, that in a sense that's going to release you from them, if that makes any sense. And one day when the time comes, when you feel as if you have moved forward, when you feel as if you have moved through this journey enough, then you can do the whole releasing them again, and then you can send them love, then you can send them blessings. But it is futile to try and send someone love and send them blessings when that's not really how you're feeling. And like I said, it will cause more of an internal fracture within you, because you're going to be torn between how you think you should feel and how you actually feel. So there are some of my tips on forgiveness. I hope this helps, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. I thought I would be a little bit further ahead with videos this week, but we haven't really been well this week. There's been a bad tummy bug about, and now my wee boy's got it, so I'm catching up with videos, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all soon. Bye.